Good evening. I'm Vlad from Channel 1010 ADMS News. Today we are presenting the argument of why social media is harmful for the mental health of people. Tonight we have specialists from different areas of expertise who will provide evidence in support of our primary claim. We will first hear from Anna, who will discuss how physical health leads to negative mental effects.
Thank you, Vlad. People are very dependent on social media. According to Social Media Victims Law Center, social media addictions are similar to serious drug addictions like cocaine. When we receive a notification, the brain releases dopamine, and refraining from using social media leads to a reduction in dopamine, which leads to withdrawal. Problematic use of social media leads to sleep deprivation. A study was conducted where they found that watching TV and spending too much time online is associated with sleep deprivation for teenagers. People are also depressed because of social media. A study conducted in the University of Pennsylvania assigned 143 participants into two groups. One group was using social media on a daily basis, and the other was limited to only 10 minutes a day. And the group that used social media 10 minutes a day saw a significant reduction in loneliness and depression. The reality assumptions for all of these claims is that social media has a negative effect on individuals. And all of the aforementioned pieces of evidence contain the persuasion technique of rhetoric, whereas the journals and academic articles use a narrative tone, and the articles online use a more casual tone. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Now we move on to the evidence analysis. The evidence stated by Anna can be evaluated as accurate and can be checked through a simple Google search. Next, her evidence is precise enough to make a conclusion that social media harms mental health. Moreover, her evidence is representative because her sources consider studies concluded on whole populations with different age groups and genders. Authority is also reliable because she included people like lawyers, psychology students, and doctors. So overall, there is sufficient evidence to prove the primary claim. Next, we will hear what Ming from Meta has to say.
According to statistics in Canada, in 2021, there's more than 600,000 people who are international students and also almost 1 million people in Canada who are foreign workers. Immigrating in different countries increase the level of anxiety and also the depression. However, social media was able to help the people by making new friends and also connecting their family member back home so they can feel close to each other. According to Jade Wu, a PhD psychologist, a hormone named oxytocin is released when people interacting with each other. And this hormone can improve our memory in learning and also recalling words. Furthermore, this hormone can reduce stress and pain.
Looking at Ming's argument, we can see that his evidence comes from a trustworthy source, Statistics Canada. It is precise enough since we can assess the number of people who will benefit from social media. Since the data comes from the PhD psychologist, the authority is good. However, I'm not sure about representativeness. The study covers only foreign immigrants, and social media can benefit people in general. I can see this evidence is sufficient to convince the audience that social media can improve mental health for international students and foreign workers. Now, we are going over to our reporters, Michaela and Jasleen, who are having a debate about their findings regarding social media.
Thanks, Vlad. Social media used to be about keeping in touch with family and friends, but according to a Forbes article, it's now mainly used for following influencers. The article states that 50% of millennials feel as if they know influencers better than their own family and friends. Users are getting tangled in these fake relationships, and it's causing a change in consumer behavior. The article also states that purchases of 66% of millennials are guided by their favorite influencers. Along with promoting unrealistic buying patterns, social media also promotes unrealistic body expectations. In a 2023 report from the American Psychological Association, an experiment was conducted over 4 weeks where 220 undergraduate students aged 17 to 25 who already had depression or anxiety were split into two groups, one which maintained social media use and one which decreased it by 50%. The conclusion of the experiment was that the group who reduced their social media use by 50% saw great improvements in how they viewed their overall appearance and body weight.
Wow, these are all really interesting points, but I want to argue that social media platforms have introduced features that provide a safe space to talk about mental health issues. According to an article by The Painted Brain, Twitter and Instagram have tools that remove hateful speech and filter out negative comments and messages from your feeds. Facebook has a page called Emotional Health Resource Center and a show called Peace of Mind with Taraji, which both provide support and information about mental health issues from experts. And lastly, Pinterest has a feature called Compassionate Search that picks up mental health related searches and offers support and access to suicide prevention lifelines.
As for Ghislaine's argument, although the evidence comes from a credible source, is recent and the author shows expertise, it is not precise nor representative. It does not give us any specific numbers or information about the users. So I would say it's not sufficient enough to draw a conclusion that social media provides safe space. I also have to mention the value assumption that it's the responsibility of social media platforms to create and implement features that will help combat mental health issues. Taking a look at Michaela's arguments, both pieces of evidence seem to come from very reputable sources. They include specific statistics which are recent, and the authors are experts in their fields. And even though they focus on small sample sizes, the evidence seems to be overall sufficient. I also have to mention the reality assumption that the stats presented about social media and consumerism affect mental health, since we're assuming this. Now we will hear from our expert Adriano, who will discuss the cyberbullying on social media and its negative health effects.
Cyberbullying, a large issue in the digital age, is leaving a trail of mental health struggles among adolescents. A recent study reveals alarming connections between cyberbullying experiences and a range of mental health concerns. An article written by Nixon L. covered multiple worldwide studies, which revealed that adolescents caught in the web of cyberbullying face increased risks of depression, anxiety, and even suicidal ideation. The relationship between online interactions and psychological well-being are unveiled, painting a concerning picture of the toll social media can take on young developing minds. The studies are clear. Adolescents who are both victims and perpetrators of cyberbullying experience the most adverse health outcomes. Depression, substance use, conduct problems, the list goes on. It's a call for urgent attention from parents, educators, and healthcare professionals.
The article presented by Adriano seems to be accurate because it relies on many studies and research conducted by scholars, and it's peer-reviewed. It's precise by focusing on specific aspects of cyberbullying's impact, and it uses numbers presented in tables from studies to back points up. It talks about cyberbullying in different places, making it more representative, but how much it applies to everyone depends on the kinds of people in the studies. The article is authoritative because it references experts and studies throughout, making it seem trustworthy. It covers a lot about cyberbullying and suggests ways to stop it. Now we will listen to our second cyberbullying expert, Munib.
Media sites are one of the leading places where people experience cyberbullying. Now, why is that? In the words of Amanda Giordano, she says that there are some people who engage in cyberbullying online because of the anonymity and the fact that there's no retaliation for them. Now, Ditch the Label is an anti-bullying charity organization which did a survey amongst 10,000 people between the age of 12 to 20. Now, what they found out was on Twitter, out of 100% users, 9% of them experience cyberbullying. On Instagram, 42% out of the 100% experience cyberbullying. On Facebook, it's 37%. On Snapchat, it's 31%. And on YouTube, it's 10%. Now, to counter this, as Instagram is the highest, Instagram has introduced a feature where users can block specific comments and or emojis that they feel offended by, basically. And Instagram has also placed a policy where there are specific words and sentences that it immediately blocks. However, people can also report some instances, but that reporting time is too long. So, and the damage is done by that time to your mind.
Judging by Munib's argument, evidence comes from reliable sources such as the Atlantic Journal and the Research Department of University of Georgia. The evidence mentioned is very precise, and stems from a reliable source, with a survey being done among 10,000 of people. It's authoritative as the sources are all credible and have a relative educational background and research work to back it up. It is representative as the stats gathered are from a large sample size with a wide age range. All of this proves that the argument is sufficient. Based on all evidence presented by our experts, we can conclude that social media leads to many negative consequences, which are causing addiction, impacting the overall body image, worsening body image, then changing consumer behavior and cyberbullying. However, when it comes to the positives, there's only one argument that we can make, which is offering support, and which we saw in different examples. Therefore, the evidence presented is leading to our initial argument, which is that social media causes negative effects on one's mental health. Thank you very much. ADMS News 1010.